deal, gang? Green, what's going on? How are you, bro? How's it going, brother?
What's going on, Wix?
What's up, active? Yeah. How's out in full force tonight? So hard to decide between all of you which one of you is my favorite PTE member. There you guys. Gotta drop a like on my own stream. I'm a newbie, please. How can I learn? Well, you have to keep showing up like it's school. And like it's cool. You need time on the charts. The most knowledge, right? The most breakthroughs happen when you put time in, right? When you see and look at the charts and watch things play out live. Not something you're gonna pick up on a day, a week, a month. It takes a long time. So keep showing up. You're here already. Damn, single channel. Full TP would have been smack right there for 200. We closed it at 150, 154. But man, we would have smacked full TP right there. 200. Yeah, but you're in the right place to learn. You know, you show up for the next few months. You're gonna get a wealth of knowledge. You're gonna be saturated with it, right? Absorb into the community, become active. You start paying attention. You start noticing things as things that you've heard and picked up on in conversation. You start seeing them on the charts, and then you see the concepts applied in real time, and then you start seeing, oh, why this concept works here but doesn't work in a different area or a different time. And you slowly start maturing as a trader or turning into a trader. Like some new, I purchased a bundle. Unfortunately, I cannot open any positions via top one. Have you signed the contract? You gotta go onto their website, log in, and sign the contract. They'll activate it. Go to toponfutures.com, sign the contract. What's the mistake? I'm telling you. Go to there, toponfutures.com, log in. First, you have to sign a contract. Once you do it, it'll activate the account. What's your view on Nova Challenge? I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what that is. All right, let's get a little breakdown going in here. So loud. So, okay, we had a really nice entry here on the daily off the top wick. But I do believe the daily will flip bullish just because previous dailies closed bullish back up in range. Nice wick to fill. Highly likely we could see a support either at this area. Market's going to make a decision here, 44.87 where we're at right now, or we come down here to 44.65 areas. Key will be, do we hold here? I think the hourly just held, right? Do have a top wick. I would be really careful in this area. This little chop here until we're back up above the most recent here. Mark that up. What we had before. Right, the daily's bullish, and I know the 4 hour previous 4 hours bearish and we're coming down here, but we pretty much filled the wick. We're back to this previous resistance area that could act as a support. The key will be, how do we perform in here? We close back up in range, or are we gonna break down here? I don't think we want to close below the most recent here. I really think we want a closure below here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if we're gonna look for sells, I'm gonna need some closures below here, and we're going to look for sells. Probably going to be a range to sell, meaning we're going to have to form a support somewhere below 44.85 if we're going to continue down here, because we're very overextended. So there's a couple of ways to play this. You can play this on an impulse, right, mid candle, or we can play this as we break the lows. If we break the lows here, right, I am not looking to take that position immediately. I want to form a support, either close below it, or depending on how this candle prints, right? Because this candle can give you a steep bottom wick, but if we hit that top wick, we should be good to go here on the break of the lows to fill the range. Entries. If we don't form like a slingshot here, I'm fine with a closure below the range here, top wick, break it. Really depends how we print there. They've said I'm also bullish on the daily. Which means this could be a very quick wick down and back up into this range. We just held support, or this could already be the bottom wick on a daily that we're forming right now. And as long as we start closing back up above the range, we're good to go. I'm good with some higher time frame price action like this. If we can see that, I will look for bottom wick entries. Continue up here and up with daily. At this point, the daily will have a bottom wick and start looking up. Re-break the high. If we look at it, see that we're just making this bottom wick. We have range to go here. We want to hold 4 hour and the 1 hour levels, and then start looking for pushes back up on the 30, on the 15. Oh, impulse sells. If we're able to now find a resistance somewhere at these areas, right? Something that could be a logical resistance. And we start coming down here. This. As long as the following candle opens with no bottom wick, I will be looking at sell limits here without a range 2 off a top wick, depending on where we're coming down from and how we close. Entry here at the top wick, looking to take this down. This way we'll be looking something like this. Stops will be based on these candles to the left. It'll look something like this, 85 pip stop, put a low here at around 231. Okay. Capiche?
Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck.
But for now, we wait, because I believe we'll be coming back up through this range and driving up on the daily. Remember what I said. It's not about really where or what. It's just your job is to figure out when. You know what? At some point you'll get good enough to know where. And the tough part for the rest of your career will be the when. Knicks beat the Spurs. Game 1. Be good. Who won the French Open? And how does ABC have both the NBA and the NHL finals? Can you please repeat? I don't understand the system. In the bundle is a funded account for top one. No. Funded account from top one was a promo that ran for the month of May. Everyone that got the bundle in the month of May received a 50K funded account from top one. So if you received one, you got to go to their website, log in, or create an account if you haven't done so yet, and then sign a contract. Once you sign a contract, you can trade that account. It'll activate. All right, so you see we came up to resistance here. See there's levels here, there's wicks into this area. The market drives heavy down from. Can it repeat that? We shall see. What do we need for that? You need to close below the current range. You need to make an attempt to come up, just logically speaking, right? Not just talking about candle closures, but logically speaking, you want to see volume, right? For you to trade. Our job is to guess the high volume candle with a high degree of probability. So you need volume. Volume is identified by a closure outside the range, right? So that's why I say you need closure. Right. Number 2, you want to make sure you don't get faked out. You want an attempt to come back up in range. Fake out, you start planning for the fake out. Continue down, you don't fake out, you respect this support now as a resistance when you're below it. Right? You get first indication of volume, closure below. Second, you need an attempt to come up here, right? To back in range, logically speaking. You're gonna attempt to come up here. Market might close above, might respect it like this, right? It might close above like this. On a smaller time frame, and you'll look to see if the 30's got the bottom. If it doesn't, there's a chance it makes one. Again, market can do that, which on the 30, right? Now looks like this. Oh, whoops, sorry. Would look like this, right? So you made that attempt to come back up in range. You failed. You're below it. Break of this is clean. There's nothing to stop you there. So that's what you're going to look for, right? You want to make sure there's volume, aka closure outside the range. You want to make sure there's an attempt to come back up, a valid attempt. You want to make sure that you get a support here, and that for sells you either break it, or for buys you're back up in range, and you'll start. Well, this is just the first steps initially. As we'll see as it starts printing, we'll see what it will look like in order for us to be able to take advantage of it or have an edge. I open in May. I have one account, but when I will open a trade, comes the terror message. I like you, Felix. I like you, bro. He said comes the terror message. This might have been that volume push. Remember I said we want to see a push. Right, if you're going to take an impulsive position, you want to see a push and you want to come back to that resistance. Well, I was planning it for it down here, but look, we just closed below the most recent with heavy volume push, right? Bounce. We bounced right back up to that resistance. I probably would have had it up here, never reached it. In this case, it would have been easy at 44.84 flat. But you know that we came up there and with volume, we just retested the low. Doesn't mean it's going to break it, but that retest is all you need. That's your position. Yeah, look at that. We should have left the fucking like 5% running here. 300 pip. It's breaking through here. There's 3 minutes left here on the first 15 of our session. We might actually attempt what we were looking for. Just depends how we close here. Unless we fill the range down, right? If it fills the range down, things become a bit different. Place for a buy limit. I also don't like the fact that this area right here never gets to the bottom here. Careful here. I bet you if you just send a message to their support desk, they'll probably activate it in a minute. So what I want here, we can plummet here and bounce off this area. Let's get rid of these. If we look at the dump, yeah. If we can get some help from the candles, aka maybe a candle closure before we get down to 75 flat, I really like buy limits at 44.75 here. Because I think if we come down further, we are super overextended. We're going to need a resistance. That resistance comes up to 44.85. And that's number one, if we're going to come down further. But if we're going to come up like this, these are daily supports. We can bounce right up on the daily from these areas. My only issue is right now, the smaller time frame is not agreeing. It's printing. Maybe a candle coming into this area. Maybe a no wick closure coming into this area, and then a bottom wick opening on the following candle. But I want the smaller time frames to help out a little. If we just kind of start plummeting here, I'm going to avoid that buy limit, even though it's highly likely to play out. I've learned with high volume, you can see that rebreak at a lows, eventually close back up in here, and the next candle will give you the tap you need. structure already printed though. Look at the 1 hour, form support, form resistance. Bro, I know the wherever structure printed, we had an entry. We had an entry up here, peak of the daily. 4508 we had entry. If somebody told me like 5 years ago that they got a sell at 4508, I'd be like, so I'd be like, okay, cowboy. Sure you do. Not even if. People used to do that and we would laugh it off. Be like, okay. We literally had entry up here. All right, 15 closed. This 15 top wick. Literally, again, what we just spoke about, right? With momentum. Right back to that area. Perfect. I literally just spoke about that. Top wick entry here. Man. I don't know why to say anything because we just closed 2 minutes. I completely missed that. That would have been, that's 40 pips right there, gang. It's 50. I think this runs to the bottom of the range. Could have had another. Sorry, not as locked in as I should. Hold on a second. Let's see if this can give us a closure here before it gets there. If it can give us some kind of no bottom wick closure, and we'll look for these buy limits off 44.75 flat. Also got to be honest with you, there's a chance we don't get there. Look at this level to the left. You see this right here? This is a 4-hour level right there to the left. So technically, this is your 4-hour shampoo level, right? Bada bing, bada boom. So you could see it hold here. Do you? I think the more recent fact that we've cleared this area out and there shouldn't be any more orders here supersede this, but this is a high time frame level, so maybe a reaction but not a rejection, and then we still continue down here. Shall see. Maybe that's our cue to now come up on a daily. As we come down here, for us to have some buy limits at 44.75, we're gonna want the market to play along a little bit. Now, kind of salty right there. It's a perfect entry. Would have been a what, 85 pip stop, 82 pip stop, and you're looking for about 80 pips there. 1 pips, 1-1. No drawdown. Break even here at 50 pips. Perfect. Played out perfectly, but Wix 9 is, after catching 150 pips here about an hour ago, Wix 9 is in monologue mode. But it's not overextended, yes. So like I just said, for it to not be overextended, you're going to need that support and a break of support. But you can take impulse plays, right, when the market's overextended, if you have a solid level to the left to come down from, and if that level gives you a stop, as long as you're closing below it, you see what closed below right here? Heavy level we drove down from. Boom, as long as you get back up there and no bottom wick on the current candle, you open up with a top wick. That's your sell limit. You should not get back up here. You should also create a bottom wick here, which is your advantage. You flip, you go break even. The rest is history. So a lot of times you will get taken out at break even, but it's a free trade for you. I always say this inside the private community in the Signal channel. It's a free trade because there's a 99.9% chance it's going to make that bottom wick here off that drive, especially closing below here. And if it opens up to this resistance, a lot of the times that's the resistance the market just pushes down off of. If it starts coming back up, you have a stop right here, so it doesn't hurt you. The stop will not end your career, right? As it won't even be a bad trade, just a trade you lose, but it's not a bad day, bad week, bad year, bad life. You understand me? Still got to do what you got to do. Man, I wonder what kind of bounce we see here. If we see one. I'm not a fan of the difference in levels here to the left. Not bad either, 58. Here's what I think might happen. We might see something like this. Break past our level. Right? We might see this wick come all the way down here. Might not. But I'd rather it does come back up, and then we can take the following wick back up. A buy limit. So if in this case there's a high likelihood. Oh man, this is 4 hours over here. So 1 hour level, 30, 15, and we're bullish on the daily. Let the slick candle fill. So early into the session, this is really good volume forming, really good structure. We can play buys, we can play sells here. We can do multiple things here. Pay attention. Really like that buy limit. Yeah, I told you, we just got to watch out for this 4. See this 4? So maybe that buy limit works out. Maybe the 4 holds and we tap 44. So if the 4 holds this area, I don't mind grabbing a bottom wick entry at 44.79, because then I'll say, why did the 4 hour hold? But I also see it drive down here. I see a wick to fill, right? We're having a pullback. If we can form maybe a 15-week support here, we would need a closure on the next candle below that 15. Maybe 2 leg candles in a row. So if this one was to give you something like this, you want the next candle to do something like this. And then we can look top wick sells. Capiche?
Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a fuck.
We gotta wait. We gotta wait. This was a perfect top wick. That's something we should have acted on, because that's we discussed that, right? Getting that closure with momentum, with volume, right? Quick pullback to this area. This is when I take positions with impulse as we're overextended, and I don't wait for that support to form here. Another level of 25 down, but it will most likely prove structure before it heads there. I disagree with the daily bias. Just because it was a green candle doesn't mean it doesn't mean it, but that's how we've determined bias, right? You are likely to get that top wick here on the daily. Until you get that, there's a reason it closed back up in range, right? There's a reason it closed back above. So I'm going to trust it to be a fake out until this daily candle fakes back out, right? So that doesn't mean we're taking a position off the daily, but it does mean that if this 4 hour holds support and the next 4 hour closes bullish, are you not looking for the daily flip now? Look, your 4 hour level, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. does this, right? Your daily flip right there. Bottom wick entry here at the support that runs across. Going up, your daily now starts looking like this. After the previous daily had this wick to fill. Am I saying it's going to do that? No, I'm telling you that that's a very likely scenario right now. The high probability of that. So that's why I plan for that. And then I plan around all the scenarios, how that could happen, how it might not happen. Hold on a second. My kids are going crazy. All right, so what did we just talk about? That's the daily. Sorry, let's go back to what we talked about here. Right? Getting this to print. 40 seconds here. So if we can close weak bullish, but below this area, I would love to have some sell limits, but I would wait personally for this next candle to close below. It might not, it might just run straight down, but you're gonna need a top wick here. I just don't have a level to the left. Well, maybe here. You can have that sell limit off. Let's see if this opens up with a top wick first. Oh, wow. No, it opened up with a bottom wick. Look at this. And it goes a little bit above here, but there's no top wick. Below the overall. So, like I said, we're going to wait for this to create a top wick and close below this support. Right? We need this closure below. This is an even better candle than I drew, because now you would expect this candle to come up and still close bearish. So maybe I possibly positions here on the next candle. We really want this to close below here. And the reason there's no top wick sells here because the bottom wick was created first here. So I can't bank on it making one. say the 1 hour closes back above that support, above that it confirms daily bottom wick, what we look at? Like, I don't speak in those terms. When it confirms daily bottom wick, that I have no chance of knowing if it's going to come back, re-break it, right? On the daily, that is a lot of candles printing throughout the day. We still have London session, New York session, right? I can just go range to range. So I can confirm it should go back, it should fill one range instead of going back to that range. We can't confirm the daily candle, right? If you re-break the daily highs after creating this low, yeah, you're likely to come up and start filling this wick, at least partially on the daily. Because you'd be driving off a daily support, right? You have a little shampoo level over here. You're re-breaking highs after creating them. You created a high, came down, bouncing off the daily support. You re-break that high, you're highly likely to fill the previous daily wick, or a large portion of it. But a better tell of that will be price at that moment as it's getting there on a smaller time frame. What are we looking for? Well, we already bought over 150 pips on sells, and now I'm looking for the next position here on a live stream. Market showing some signs of life, but not there yet. New here, are you trading live? No, this is pre-recorded. Yeah, this was recorded days ago. Yes, man, we are trading live. Welcome, you're in the right place. Now stick around for the next few months so you could actually pick up on what we're doing and make some money. Get yourself out of poverty. Man, yeah, it's gonna come down off this level. Got a nice little wick fill there. Like I said, I can't take it because we have a wick here, so there's no advantage for me here. If there was no wick, I would say we're coming down to make one. By that time, we would be break even. But here right now, the high likelihood it comes down, but it's the hourly flip, and we can hold the hourly level. And we've also bounced off the 4-hour support. Imagine we close back up in range here. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. A lot of time on the charts here. Just this 15 has another 10 minutes. We've made a top wick in the first 15. Remember what I said? Blake candle here, no top wick. Highly likely this candle makes the top wick, but still ends up below the range here. Given? No, nothing's a given. Certain opportunities are better than others. Why you're not in here right now. Oof. And back down. Are you going back up to the daily flip? See? I don't give a shit what you call it, bro, but bundle's just a way of saying there's a bunch of things in there. But The value. The value. Get the value. Matter of fact, it should just say help yourself. Help yourself. What a bounce off that 4-hour low. To the T right there, to the wick. Doesn't mean it won't re-break it, it's just nasty bounce. $44.82, yeah, that's not bad. Came down, bullish flip, yeah. Till this 15-minute closes. Nothing doing until this 15 closes. We need to see this closure through. Again, give me 1 sec. Or a minute. Sell or buy? Wrong question. That is the wrong question, my friend. Plus 15 of this hourly. Long, short, wait. Not time yet. Not yet. Waiting. Patience, grasshopper. Rough. Come on, Benny. You like to make liquidity. Is it Friday? Oh yeah, this is the Friday candle, gang. Yeah. No wonder chat's in Friday mode. Hey, gang, by the way, drop a like and sub to the channel while you have some time. Appreciate that. Been delivering almost 100 pips on the daily. 100 pips almost on the daily. Please drop a like, sub to the channel. Please share the stream. Need your help. Share the stream. Okay, there we go. The 15 split bearish here. Can we get a closure? Maybe not. Want a stronger closure. We want this closure probably below 44.88 here. We can do that below 44.88. Next candle, we'll be looking for a top wick entry to come down here on the hourly. You see 44.88 also. It's here. A lot of sense on the hourly, right? Oof. 5, no bottom wick. Tough. Good for us. 10 minutes to go on the hourly. Let's see if we can get that closure, and then we'll look for bells to the bottom of the range. Tells if we close bearish on the 15. Yeah, that's a big if, but yeah, if and below here, below 44.88, 44.87. A lot of time, 9 minutes here. A lot of things can happen. But the fact that we bounced off the 4-hour level, split bullish on the hourly, where the previous hour respected the hourly as well. So think about it now, we respected the hourly, the 4-hour Now we have this little fake out. The high likelihood we get that break of the lows, bottom wick, and then a re-break of the highs to come back up. Wait and see how we close. That's why I said I want that closure below here. Tell me that we're not holding this support. Yeah, about 8 minutes. It's on your hands for now for 8 minutes, and we'll have more information at our disposal to make a better decision. Be right back. Vegas up 1-0 in the first. Where's Kenny? Where's Green? Was showing up here like sporadically. Need some consistency, fellas. Come on. We don't want to be in this chop though. We don't want to be in here. We need 288. Support. Yeah, I may for me to see any kind of buys up here, I need a range, right? Where I need to see a resistance and a closure above, driving off support. See, I don't want to be in no man's land because, yeah, the 1 hour is holding the most recent support, but we're below these rejection areas after a heavy push down, right? So this is the first push back up. This could be just a pullback to continue to drive down. This is a big wick to fill, and this is a leg candle, right? There's a chance you make a high here, break, close below 44.86. You're coming down to fill the rest of the leg candle. To go. Last 5 minutes. Drop 70 pips. Of course, we open up with a fucking bottom wick. Yeah, nothing here. Close below the hourly. I will say that. Below the most recent hourly, there's range to come down here. But I needed a top wick first. The good thing about this hourly now has a bottom wick. If we start getting some closures above 44.92, we can look to continue up with the daily. Or we can start looking for the daily flip if we get these closures above there. Light candle. Light candle is a candle that closes opposite of a long wick with a body smaller than the wick. So this would be a light candle. This would be a light candle. Give me 1 second, sweetie. What's up? Right now? For a sleepover? Yeah, I can take you, of course. Right, bearish light candle. So idea behind it is that it creates range, and it creates the end of the range. So we know this is a range on a smaller time frame, right? The wick is a range on a smaller time frame, and the body here tells us that there's no range to go down. So if we are able to get past this area, we should be filling the wick. Doesn't, like, candle doesn't mean we come back the other way immediately. It just means that the next candle is likely to get to this body, and a lot of times to fill this in order to get orders to go back the other way. So you might not see the leg candle fill. The market might not come back up to fill it, right? But you really have to read the market and where you're getting that leg candle closure, right? Is it respecting a support or resistance? Are you coming down to a higher time frame support, for example? Right? Is there like a higher time frame support here, and now you're getting this closure, and the hour, let's say this is a 30 closure, but the previous hourly was heavily bullish, right? If the previous hour here heavily bullish, right? Now you're getting this 30 closure, right? Most likely this is the bottom wick for the next hour. Start doing this. So I would look for buys at a support to continue up with the hourly. We are getting an understanding of the fact that there's no more range to go down and there's room to fill up here. It's not just like, oh, like candle, trade it. No, there's many nuances and many different ways to apply them in terms of where we are in the markets, when we are in the markets. So the candle just in the body. Yeah, so this right here is not a leg candle, right? Bigger wick than the body, but this would have needed to close bearish to be considered a leg candle. On this candle, I'm thinking we're going to get a seller replay and come down. All right, so there's that bottom wick we just spoke about, right? The hourly's got the bottom wick. We just need to close above. We need to close above resistance. This is a level we can reject from and come down, right? It's an established resistance. We close above resistance as we are doing right now. We are going to look for some buys to come up here to the top of the range and for the daily flip. There are also hidden leg candles if you combine previous candle closures. But yeah, I mean, you switch time frames and then you see those leg candles print on a different time frame, which means on a higher time frame, you know, you get two leg candles in a row. A lot of times on the 15, you go to the 30 and it's a doji candle. Or you get that on the 30, you go to the 1 hour, there's a doji candle. Reggie gonna name his firstborn leg candle. Where's Reggie? CI? The candle Leslie. It's got a nice ring to it. Chop is tricky because we've seen this go both ways here. We've seen this come down heavy off this area, right? If you look up here, these areas, yeah, but then we've seen a heavy drop. So look what's playing out here. Very similar, right? This area, push up. This area, push down. There. pullback. Pullback right here. What happens off that pullback? Another heavy drop. I would expect after a pullback up to these areas, if we pull back to those areas, see another heavy drop. It's muscle memory, gang. Muscle memory, that's all it is, right? So you're gonna see this over and over and over. Brain's a muscle, use it. Benny! Told you, bro. Stop barking. If they're not aliens, I don't want to hear about it. Not those aliens. Benny over there barking at some Mexican. You think we're coming down to break the low? I don't know. This isn't too pretty in terms of what it looks like right now, but you do want to see this type of candle. You want to see candle with volume just push, breaking highs, breaking lows, maybe not at the same time, but that's a candle that's going to start setting you up for a push, a drive, and create new structure. You know, 1 hour flip could be interesting. Doesn't make sense with the daily. The daily looks lovely, right? But that doesn't mean you're gonna, you know, push up, fill this wick. It just, you're gonna see the first indications of it on a smaller time frame. And then it's your job to not just take the 15. You need other time frames confirming it. So it's your job to take the trade to court. You think we're good to the upside? Yeah, well, see, that's the issue. I want to take the think part out of it. I just want to be, we're good here. I want to be pretty confident. Thing is strat. Well, look at this right here. You know how many accounts were blown in here in the span of what, 3 a.m. to 5:30? In the span of these 2.5, 3 hours, shit ton of people blew their accounts with up, down, up, down. Man, that's peak London too. Look at that middle of London session. Damn, that's not even like, you know, in between sessions. Peak London. Pre-NY. Right, New York did its thing. Being honest though, I probably would not have taken anything today in New York. Thing here is Traven. Well, here's the deal. If you see this closure here, hey, if the hourly closes this and respects this level to the left for a drop, that means the 4-hour closes like this, bearish. Once we get to this resistance here, I'm looking for sells. If we can come down here and close at 44.80, 88, 85, 87 areas, I'm looking for top wick entry here again, 44.92, so we can continue down. 1 hour respecting resistance, 4-hour closing bearish. Okay. We will look for a partial fill of this 4-hour wick down. Okay. Fill of this leg candle. It's a lot of time, right? A lot of time. This is only the beginning of this hourly. We still have 45 minutes, 49 minutes until the 1 hour closes. 48 minutes, my friend.
Yo.
Yo.
What are you doing? How are you?
What are you doing? How was your gym session, my
What
friend?
it do? What it do?
Did you take your camel to the gym?
I did. I just got back.
Did you wear a towel on your head?
Yes. And a big bomb under.
Oh, Wait,
It
hold
goes
on,
boom.
gang. I need to run. My daughter's having a sleepover. I'm gonna be back in 10 minutes. I gotta drive her down the block. Be right back. 15, what's the 15 looking like? Yeah, there's nothing on this 15. We're gonna wait the 30, most likely through the hourly, but possible positions here on the next hourly candle. I don't think we'll see much on this hour, but I'll be back in about 15 minutes. See you guys soon.
I just got here.
You just got there. Well, you can host a little bit. Do a Q&A. I'll be right back. What I miss? Not much. Oh, zoom door. I got you. That's secured. Hey, Eddie W. Nice job. Nice job, Edward. Edmanuel. Yeah. Oh, just that chop. All the wicks. Look what's happening. Dump from 125 on Bitcoin. Yeah, I think we break 62 areas. 64 areas. I think 50K next stop. You want to get it on the cheap. It's tough. Look at this 30 closure. 30 seconds here for the 30. We broke the highs, broke the lows. Or we broke the lows, broke the highs, then we re-broke the lows. I would not have gotten activated here. I would have been sitting over here talking about, damn, that was one pip off. 75.5. 75.6 is where it's at. This dirty. Dirty. Yeah. Look at that. That's nasty. That is a nasty 30-minute candle. It's dirty. That's worse than my search history. Damn. But you don't have to worry about this, because if you had the bundle, you're up 150 pips right now. Right? Get yourself into a community. Like, there are two types of people in this world, gang. People that lift others up, right? And there are people that lean on others in order to be lifted up. And there's nothing wrong with leaning on people, but if you are leaning on anyone, surround yourself with lifters. You don't want to lean on people that are leaning on others, right? Surround yourself with lifters that can lift you up. You're the one leaning on somebody. Chat's like, yeah, whatever, bro, buy or sell. Get like a four. FOMO taught me not to make FOMO-based decisions. Or trading taught you not to make FOMO-based decisions. Okay. There's certain things that are considered FOMO. There are certain things that are considered taking action. 30.9. No, bro, we got like 4 subs. So we're like 24 subs away from 30.9. Gang, can we get some subs, please? Come on. Night in, night out. We're performing, giving out W's. Please support. Please. Yeah, when we're in drawdown, or whenever that happens, the once in a while that does happen, we should be hitting 50 plus a day easy. I don't know. I was about to say something. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh well, must not have been important. I'm surprised myself with how profitable we've been and like the amount, how entertaining most of the streams have been. It's just sometimes it's mind-boggling. Missed your chilled voice in the background, Wix. Hope all is good. Hope all is going good. Yeah, all is going well. You join Zoom if I get, yeah, when you get the bundle, you get access to everything. But it Zooms, we held a private on Friday. We didn't stream, right? Friday, but we did hold a private session for Power Hour on Friday at 3 p.m. And then today we didn't stream, but we did take positions 2 hours ago before stream. You're gonna trade right now? No, not anymore. W's. I'm just waiting. 30 close. We're chopping it up, printing side by side. Look at this candle. Ugly. Disgusting. Uglier than your high school physics teacher. Chop, not pretty. But you know what? It gives me some time to take my vitamins. Big ass pills. Can't do more than 4 at a time. Damn, thanks for reminding me. I gotta go submit high school physics paper for rechecking. Oh, I forgot you're still in high school, bro. Was I right? How ugly is your physics teacher? It's impossible to have a hot physics teacher. Maybe like Spanish or Italian. Also, how come every gym teacher I've ever had was out of shape? Every gym teacher I have ever had was out of shape. I've never had an in-shape gym teacher. And like, this is going back over 20 years for me, right? 25 years, but they were never in shape. They was always telling me to kick the ball and you know, fly my spine and, you know, do jumping jacks. Hated school so bad, couldn't wait to graduate. Me too. I didn't like school. I hated school. I went to college. Yeah. I went to Baruch College, which was in the middle. It was a business school in the middle of Manhattan, in the middle of the city, right on the 23rd and Lexington. But you asked me, did I go to college or did I finish college? Two different things. I did not finish college. I dropped out. Yeah, it was. I went to a high school where my brother graduated. When I came in there, my brother graduated a year before with a gold medal, second to the valedictorian. So when I came in there, I was like, oh, we know your brother. I was like, oh boy, you're in for a treat. We are like polar opposites. Oh, completely. Interest-wise, everything. Gang, see my hair? My brother's bald. We're literally polar opposite. I hate to read. He's read like 20,000 books. You quit? I think. No, I went to college for 2 years. I got my 2 years worth, associate's degree worth, and then I dropped out. I did enough. So when I started college, it was for business management, administration, business law eventually. And then I decided to become a cop. I went and I did enough college because you need a 2-year degree in New York to go join the NYPD. So I got enough to do that, and then I took the NYPD exam. And then moved to Miami. Yeah. I had this really strange thought in my head that I would be a good cop. I didn't want to do cop, no, but I wanted to, because you can do 3 years and take your detective exam, and I wanted to do homicide, right? I didn't want to do like no patrol on the street. I just wanted to do homicide. That was like the thing, like go up to a murder scene and investigate. You are a cop, or am I missing? No, I'm not a cop. So the line was so long to become a cop. Like even if you aced your exam, like it was like a 3 or 4 year wait. And like they called me about 4 years later when I was already living in Miami, Florida. So I took the exam I think in like 2008, and they called me in 2012, and I moved to Miami in 2010. Or 2007, and they called me in 2011, something like that. But I remember I was living in Miami. Yeah, man, I would have been good at solving murder. Cracking the cases. You would have seen me on First 48. I'm just glad that that's not how my life went. I was looking for purpose at that time, and I found my purpose with this. One hour closure below, another entry we should have took. No, because you held the 1 hour level across here. Not necessarily. You made a bottom wick there first. You made a bottom wick. You made a bottom wick, then you rebroke the high, and then you rebroke the low, and then you came back up here. Like, there's no way I'm staying. Even if we were in a position, we would have been hit at BE regardless. Like, And even though the 1 hour closed, that's the only thing, right? You need more than just one time frame. More than just one time frame aligning. Right? I prefer multiple time frames. I prefer the lower time frames and the higher time frames tell the same story. But as you're getting that closure below in the 1 hour, you're bumping right into a support. Right? There's 30 support here. Can't disregard it. Yeah, we're into the last 15 of the 4 hour here in about a minute. We tap 4 hour target, kept you out. Yeah, I mean, we did tap 4 hour target, and we also, we're coming up on a 4 hour close. Though we tapped the 4 hour target and we held the 1 hour target on the previous one right here, on the one right before the last one. So if we held it and we got a weak candle here, there's a chance this one might fake out after the bottom wick, and the daily's bullish. So as we made the bottom wick and we're coming up breaking these highs, you're thinking to yourself, all right, closure above, we're coming up for the daily flip. Well, that's what I'm thinking. The daily is bullish. Very overextended here on this. Careful here. This is a daily level. Dollar Corey, appreciate you do. Be at work listening. It'd be loud in here, but I manage. Wishing you peace and prosperity. Hey, I wish you the same thing. And don't talk too much here. We gotta ain't gonna talk too much here. We got a coppish around here streaming. No, that was like why I decided to drop out of college. I was like I said, I was looking for purpose, and that's going back 20 years ago. 20 years. Done so many different things since then. I used to do financial consulting for a bank. I owned a pharmacy. I owned a bunch of other businesses. I did Airbnbs. I've done so much. Wix is 53 now. No, 40. 11 at heart. 40. He's trying to make me feel old. Ogbu Augustinoka. What's up, my Nigerian friend? How much here is a 40-year-old? I have the right amount. Is I right about Nigerian? Bugaboo. As you're hopping in here, please drop a like, sub to the channel, and please share the stream. let's look at this. 4-hour closing below the range. I expect the next 4-hour give us a top wick to the previous resistance, or I'm sorry, previous support. So we can maybe establish that as a resistance. If we expect the top wick, and if we can close at a support about 44.75, I will look for a bottom wick entry. Right now, we close like this, it's going to take a little while to print. This is at a higher time frame level here, and we are very overextended on these sells. Not much structure here, even on the smaller time frame. Sucked. We're below the range, but I'm mindful of these wicks here and these levels here where we wicked into. Be a little patient. Buys, I would honestly, based on the 4-hour closure here, I would rather wait for a pullback and a sell. Buys can set up if you form a range here and start closing above that range. You would need a range 2 breakout. You would need a, okay, let's put it this way. For buys, you would need a range 2 breakout after the next 4-hour has a bottom wick. You would need to create the bottom wick. You would need to push back up, create a range, and then break above that range. That's when I can look for buys. So next 4-hour, once we close here, actually I'm going to point what the next 4-hour needs to do. But just in general, next 4-hour would have to come down here, come back up here, and then on a smaller time frame, we would have to form a range, close back up above that range. This gives us a range 2 breakout, and then we can look for retest after attempting push down, having a bottom wick on the 4-hour, forming a resistance, driving up off support, breaking above that resistance on a closure, and then re-breaking the high wherever that resistance was. That should take us up. There's quite a few things that still have to happen for the buys, right? You need a whole workflow of things. Gotta be careful not to say order flow, otherwise fucking ICT people will lose their fucking minds. Smooth blood fall from the mountain soon, draining the blood to the down heel. What a wonderful as BTC trash draining to. Am I reading that backwards? Short 50K to draining trash BTC. As seen. Wonderful. What a heel down. The blood. The blood, the draining. I don't know. I couldn't understand it either way. Sure. I see nothing on. Overextended with a cape. Our sells in our favor. You are bearish right now in a smaller time frame. You're bearish for the session. You've had no structure break. I would say your sells are at a higher probability to work out than your buys, but you cannot disregard where you're at and the time. When. Right? Daily support, not just the 4-hour, daily support here. Daily does not have much of a top wick. Does it need one? Yeah, doesn't owe us one, there's a likelihood we bottom out here at daily support. To understand where you are. If you're going to look for sells, you're better off for a pullback, waiting for a pullback and retesting the lows. Get rid of all this. I'm not a big fan of this chop here. From 75 to 74 to 68. Be very careful if we get closures within there. There we go. Last 15 of the 4 hour. See if it can leave us a top wick. Trade off of. Data yet. Doesn't look like there's anything off the rip off the 4 hour. Yeah, I see where we're closing on it. Need some confirmations. In terms of, we only have a 15 that's pulling back. Nothing, right? 30, heavily bearish. 1 hour. Got that nasty top wick, broke previous highs. The drive was down here, so nothing yet. The further sells down are a chop. You need some structure, pullback, and buys need a range to breakout. Very simple. No celery play here for me, also because right into this chop, right into 68. I don't want to mess around with this bubble. I'm right back up. Yeah, I think if we see a celery play, it won't be a heavy drive. It'll be a trickle down. But if it is, it is. Range 2 buys, I would need range 2 buys, yeah, but unfortunately we're not forming any kind of support. So a lot of candles still need to be printed, right? Your good hour worth of candles. Away. Maybe 45 minutes. I think we still set up for some positions here tonight. Just might take it into the bundle. 50 seconds here. If this thing prints with no bottom wick, gonna be a lot of waiting, a lot of super extra waiting. Hour closed. Expecting this level. I'm gonna leave you with this. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a session here. There's not much happening in terms of nearby positions or positions coming up here soon. You got a celery play here happening on the 15, and it's right into this level. We get some closures, belosures. Great. I would wait for a 4-hour top wick to be made before taking those sells back down. I would prefer, honestly, I would prefer the buys. I would rather form this range where we're at right now and come back up. We might be driving down the rest of the evening, but for me to drive down, I need structure. I need a pullback and drive down off resistance breaking support. I've not really had that. I've just kind of had this melt. And for buys, like I said, range 2 breakouts. So if we do form a range here, whatever range we form, we want a closure above it, right? If we form range here right now, close bearish, if we're able to close back above the range that we form, I will look for those pullbacks. On the 4-hour, create the 4-hour top wick, not looking for a massive runner because I would eventually expect the 4-hour to come back down and get to at least 44.60 areas because that's the daily support, and then we can continue up on the daily. But yeah, I'm gonna call it. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and no Asian session tomorrow, so I'll see you guys, see the private gang on Sunday. Everyone who got the bundle, I'll see you guys on Sunday. We'll do some giveaways. And yeah, if you got the bundle, you'll have access to that. If you got the bundle, you'll also have access to whatever trades I placed tonight, right? And you would have had access to the 150 bit banger before the stream. Anyway, that's enough shameless bundle plugs, right? Did our little obscene little profit timeout, but yeah, time to call it. Yeah, great session overall. Good discussion. A lot of value in discussion and what we've drawn up, what to look for, why, the reasoning behind things. These are the streams you gotta show up to, because that's what the value is. These and the drawdown one. All right, Zoom gang, see you guys in the clubhouse.
Thank you,
Bundle
Wix.
members, private gang, look at possibly positions later on. If I see something, I'll obviously call it in the signal channel in the private community. Mods, thank you so much for helping me run the stream. Appreciate you guys. Chat, love and wisdom to you all. As for me, my time here is up, and just like that, another Asian session is in the books. Have a good night, everybody. Wait for
Thank
your
you, Wix.
positions. You waited long enough. Just wait for what you're looking for. Later.